Mr. Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So I'm going to take a look here today. We're going to take a look here at Tesla, at Netflix, and at Race, which is Ferrari. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation buy, selling stock commodity ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have Tesla. Now, this is one of my favorite trades here. I guess they gave him the go-ahead to do, they're going to pay this guy $1 trillion over 10 years. But the metrics that he has to meet here are going to be pretty much impossible. So I just think what they really want to do is everybody had a 75% vote of a yes vote. But I think what they want to do is so he would focus back on Tesla kind of a situation versus that pay. I think that's a pie in the sky situation. But, you know, again, we'll see, you know. Anyway, here, let's just take a look here at the old stock. Okay, so you can see here what we did is we put this high in. Okay, we put that high in at 470.75. We retested it at 474. We have that double top situation. Okay, see that? Okay, very, very nice double top. Came right on down here, and now we're holding now. Look how nice that 50-day is holding. Sold right down, held the 50-day, popped right up, right into that 8-day. Couldn't crack through it, and now we're back at that 50-day again. See? This is why you trade the charts. Now, this is what we're looking for on the downside. 427.33, that 50-day. Very, very key. If we lose that, we're going to come right to the bottom of that candle at that 421.88 level. Then we're going to have this 413.90 level, which is basically right there. And then we can retest it here, come all the way down here at that 411.45 level. That's going to be very, very key. Now, there is a gap. If you look at the bottom of this candle right here, okay, looking at 402.43, there's your gap. And then we look at a 396.69, there's your fill. Now, the reason I always point that out is a lot of times if you lose that 50-day and you lose your price channel, what it does, it comes right down to the gap. A lot of times that gap will hold and then she rallies right back up again. But if once it starts getting into the gap, then it wants to hit that fill level, which is going to be at that 396.69 level. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. And if it falls right off there, we always got your 100-day and we have your 200-day below that. Now, on the upside, you can see how this 8-day is rolling over, but it has not crossed that 21-day yet. So right now on the upside, this is your resistance level, 445.29. Then we get right above that. We're going to come at 445.63. That's what's going to be the key levels there on the upside. You have to get back above it. If you can, then we'll come to the top of that candle at 449.67 level. Then we just work ourselves all the way on up here. What do we got there? You got a 451.68 level. We'll come over top of that candle. You're looking at what do we got there? 458 level. Then we'll come over top of that candle there. You got that 460. Then we come all the way up here, top of this candle, 467. And then we have this retest that we always want to look to the left, that 470.75, and then there's your big boy at 470.407. And we crack that, you're going to go to that 200 mark. Now, what you have to think about with Tesla here is this is not just a car company, okay? It's also, you know, self-driving, it's robots and all this thing. But the problem is you got to get all this stuff developed. There's a lot of things about talking about. They talked about that Cybertruck in 2018, and it came out like 5 years later, and it's a complete disaster. Okay, they want to sell 100,000 trucks. They've only sold 16,000 of these. Okay, so just understand what's going to be going on with all this. And it's cool to say I can look at a robot and I can see this and everything, but you have to use that in practical use. Now, the self-driving car, Waymo, is way ahead of what Tesla is. So this is going to be how this company shakes out here, okay? So this is why you want to trade the charts. The key is going to be watching that 50 SMA. That's going to be very, very key. And then that 41.13 level. And then down here to that 411 level. Now, again, I trade Tesla pretty much every day. TSLA for the long, TSLS for the short. Okay, so when he was buying that Twitter situation, it was such a beautiful short all the way on down. But then you got to know when to get out of the situation. Okay, so that was a really, really good short. So don't be afraid here on on both directions kind of situation. Another thing you want to watch about Tesla is, remember, all those subsidies ended on the 30th. So people were front-loading just like they did on GM and Ford and Chrysler. And now what's going to happen? Look at GM. Oh, yeah, we had good sales. Sales were up for 8% EVs. And then 2 minutes later, they turn around and they lay off 1,400 people because they say, we have no sales in EVs. Because once that subsidy runs out, people are saying, hey, that's $7,500. I don't really need this. I can buy a lot of gasoline for $7,500, okay? So always, always remember that. So again, if you lose that 50-day and that price channel in the bottom of that candle, always look right here to this gap and this fill. That's going to be very, very important kind of a situation. Now, you're only sitting at 46, 45. That's not overbought or oversold. The green is below your red. And you can see here how we have that kind of like sell-off. But remember, always watch for any kind of a chart pattern. Now, if you want to learn about chart patterns, go on my playlist. It's all right there at your convenience, okay? Double top situation. When you see that, on 90% of the time, it's going to come right on down, sell right on down. And then again, watch that 50-day. As long as that 50-day strong holds it, then we have a good shot at coming back up. And maybe that 21-day and that 8-day are going to be key. Okay, now let's take a look here at Netflix. All right, here we have Netflix. Now, I am jazzed on Netflix. Reason being is they're doing that split that I've been waiting on, okay? So I believe it's November 17th. They're going to do a 10-for-1 split, and this gets this price down at the little bit more, normal price that you can buy a lot more shares, okay? Now, I think Netflix is going to be good. I think at Thanksgiving time, they have football going on here, but they have a lot of stuff that's going on here. Now, again, their last earnings here weren't really nothing to write home about, kind of a situation, and then she came on down. But what I'm looking for is, to me, I'm a trader, so that's what I kind of look at. Now, what we're looking here on the upside is we're looking for this gap, okay? So top of that candle is what you're looking for, 1157.60. That's going to be very, very key. Then we have your 100-day or 50-day, 1178. Then we have the 100-day here and there at 12. Oh, what do we got there? Yeah, 1203.67. And then we look to the bottom of the hill, there's your gap fill at 1231. So you have your gap, okay, and your fill, but we have the 50-day, the 100-day, and then once we get above that, then we have that 1248 level. We come up here, you got this 1267 level. We come all the way to the top of there, you got 1277, and then we can work yourself all the way up to that 1341 level. Now, if you take that 1341, okay, let me just punch that up here, 1341, you divide that by 10, okay, that stock is going to be a nice 134.10. Awesome. Okay, so this is why I'm all geared up here on the old Netflix, because of the nice 10-for-1 split. Now, we're sitting here at 50. That's right in the middle. We're not overbought or something. The green crossed over your red. Looks like we have the momentum. But again, always watch these gaps. That's why I point them out, because what it is going to go right into this here, top of that gap, 1157. If it gets above it, then we have the 50, 100-day, and then look for that fill. Okay, but right now, this is your target. Look for that gap. Now, downside, you want to look for that 21-day. That's going to be key, 1132. And then we have your 200-day, 1129. And then we have your 8-day at 1111. Okay, so that's going to be your key support. If we lose that, you'll come down and retest that 1073 level. Okay, so again, watch the 21-day, the 200-day on the downside, and that 8-day. Okay, as long as we're holding that, this could have sideways to up action. Okay, but watch that gap fill. That's going to be very key. Once we start getting into it, then we'll be aiming for that 50-day, that 100-day, and then the gap fill, and then we have that retest up there at 1248. All right, let's take a look here at Ferrari. All right, here we have race. Now you can see here how the earnings, how we dropped off here on that last earnings, but look at the current earnings, okay? We rallied on up here. But see, this is what I was talking about with this gap, okay? See right there, that was going to be your target. We hit right there, we hit 423. No, what do we hit yet? Yeah. 423.44. We're looking for right top of this candle right here, okay, at 422.90. See that? See what right in it? Now, today, we just gapped up, okay? I don't like the gap up situation. I like to have it more smooth, okay? So on the downside, watch today's low. That's 426. There's your gap, and then we watch the high at 423. There's your gap and your fill. Then we look into that price channel, okay, right there. But what we're really looking at is this 8-day at 409. And that 21-day at 403. So you can see how nicely they curved up. So that, as long as that holds, we're doing very, very nicely. Now, if it keeps rallying up here, then this is that 50-day, obviously, is going to be targeted, 442.25. And then we have your 100-day at and 200-day at 460.72 level. And then if we can get above that, we have that gap fill. Look at all the way up here at 477.01. Okay, look at the range that you can have from 427 all the way to 477. Now, just be a little bit patient with this. Now, remember, good times or bad times, Ferrari's a specialty. They're going to have their clients. Well, most of those cars are already all pre-sold before they're even built. Okay, so there's really no issue. I've been trading this here for a long time, and I just love to trade. But again, when it gaps down like that, then you want to fill. I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, here's where it is in a gap down. Then look what happened. It worked itself all the way up here and filled that gap. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Okay, when I look at these gaps in this fill, came right on down. Perfect example. Then we got their high is at we got 498.70. What was the gap fill? There was a 496. Okay, so see that gap? Filled that bad boy right there very, very nicely. Okay, I like it. I like it very much. Okay. Now, again, can we do the same thing? We've got the 50-day, the 100, 200-day. But if we can fill that gap nicely. On the downside, just watch that key 8-day. That's going to be crucial at 409. Watch that 21-day at 403. That's going to be very, very key. Now, we got to an way oversold condition here, and now she rallied it up, similar to what we had here. Okay, so we still look out. We have plenty of room to run, here, plenty of room to run there. Okay, now the green is over your red. Nice. Okay, very, very nice. She's moving right on up. So right now, okay, this is one of my trades that I do because I think there's always a market for this. And once they get this government settled down and all the shutdown over and all things will get right back to normal like they were. And, but most of these cards are already pre-sold kind of situation. So upside, what it is remember, just watch that 50-day, 200-day, 100-day, and then watch that gap fill. All right, that's what I got for. I'll be back here after your pit close. And we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, silver, crude oil, and natty gas. Now, the Dow's ripping up here about 296. NASDAQ is coming off. S&P is coming off. But look at the NASDAQ. Look for opportunity. Meta is coming down nice. Amazon coming down. NVIDIA is coming down. Palantir is coming down. Okay, Apple is coming down. Microsoft. All these are coming right on down. Look for opportunity to buy and to take it into the end of the year. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.